So starting the topic again, which we were discussing yesterday, which was not clear because of some technical reasons. What is a unit cell? Unit cell is the smallest portion of a lattice. Unit cell is the smallest portion of a lattice, which if repeated over and again will result in the formation of full crystal lattice or whole of the crystal lattice. Now we are representing a unit cell as a cube. Representing the unit cell as a cube, and we are dividing the unit cell into two types. One is primitive and another is non-primitive. One is primitive and another is non-primitive. Primitive unit cell means if the particles are present only at the corners of the unit cell, that would be called as simply the primitive unit cell or the simple unit cell. Primitive unit cell or the simple unit cell means the particles are present at the corners, only corners of the unit cell. But if the particles are present at the corners as well as some other place in the unit cell, that is called as non-primitive. And depending upon that, what is the position of the particles other than the corners, we are dividing the non-primitive unit cells into three types. One is called as body-centered unit cell, another is called as face-centered unit cell, and the third one is end face centered unit cell. Body centered unit cell, face centered unit cell, and end face centered unit cell. Body centered means that the particles are present at the corners as well as the center of the body of the unit cell. Particles are present at the corners as well as at the center of the body of the unit cell, that is called as body centered unit cell. Then coming to the face centered unit cell. Face centered unit cell means one cube has 6 faces. One cube has 6 faces. Face centered unit cell means the particles are present at the corners as well as at the center of each face, as well as at the center of each face. This is the front face, इसके center में. This is the back face, इसके center में. ये upper face, lower face, left face and right face. 6 faces, and the center of each face has one particle, as well as at the corners of the unit cell. Then the unit cell would be called as the face centered unit cell. Now what is end face centered unit cell? End face centered unit cell means if a unit cell has the particles at the corners as well as the center of any two opposite faces. The center of any two opposite faces, that is called as end face centered. So we have here the different types of unit cells. Primitive unit cell, which is the simple unit cell, which has particles. Particles means they can be atoms, they can be molecules, or they can be ions also. The particles are present at the corners only. And non-primitive unit cell means the particles are present at the corners as well as body centered, face centered and end face centered. Body centered means center of the unit cell as well as at the corners. Face centered means corners as well as center of each face of the unit cell. And end face centered means the particles are present at the corners as well as the center of any two opposite faces of the unit cell. Now next is how to calculate the number of atoms present in the particular unit cell. How to calculate the number of atoms present in a particular unit cell, that we have to calculate now. उसको हम कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे? फॉर द कैलकुलेशन ऑफ नंबर ऑफ एटम्स पर यूनिट सेल, व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, फर्स्ट वी हैव टू ऑब्जर्व कि एक एटम का अपने यूनिट सेल में कितना कंट्रीब्यूशन है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ए पार्टिकल इज प्रेजेंट एट द कॉर्नर. If a particle is present at the corner, in that case, that particle is shared by 8 unit cells. That particle is further shared by 8 unit cells. For example, we have this book, considering it as a cube. If we suppose this corner, if it is the corner, it is the particle present at the corner, then it is shared by 1 unit cell which is above it, 1 unit cell which is in front of it, 1 unit cell which is above this cell, 1 here and 1 below. In this way, this corner is shared by 4 other unit cells. That's why the particle which is present at the corner, that has contribution to its own unit cell, has 1/8 only. That is 1/8 only, because ये पार्टिकल जो एक कॉर्नर पे प्रेजेंट है, ये 8 और यूनिट सेल शेयर करती हैं, तो अपनी यूनिट सेल में उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन एक पार्टिकल का 1/8 हो जाता है. अगर एक पार्टिकल का 1/8 कंट्रीब्यूशन है, तो टोटल 8 कॉर्नर्स वी हैव, तो टोटल 8 पार्टिकल्स का कंट्रीब्यूशन एक एटम के बराबर हो जाएगा. मीन्स एक यूनिट सेल में जो पार्टिकल्स कॉर्नर पे प्रेजेंट हैं, उनका कंट्रीब्यूशन सिर्फ एक एटम के बराबर है. अब आते हैं जो पार्टिकल सेंटर ऑफ द बॉडी में है, बॉडी सेंटर पे है. जो बॉडी सेंटर पे है वो तो कोई और यूनिट सेल शेयर करेगी नहीं. दैट इज सिंपली शेयर्ड बाय 1 सिंगल यूनिट सेल. तो उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन पूरा है अपनी यूनिट सेल में, दैट इज इक्वल टू 1. नाउ कमिंग टू द सेंटर ऑफ द फेसेस. एक फेस, 1 फेस ऑफ अ क्यूब इज शेयर्ड बाय 2 यूनिट सेल. सपोज दिस इज 1 फेस. इफ दिस इज 1 फेस, इसके आगे की जो यूनिट सेल होगी सिर्फ वही उस फेस को शेयर करेगी और कोई नहीं. इसका मतलब एक फेस को 2 यूनिट सेल शेयर करती हैं, तो अपनी यूनिट सेल में उस एक फेस के एटम का कंट्रीब्यूशन 1/2 है. एक फेस का कंट्रीब्यूशन अगर 1/2 है, एक क्यूब दैट हैज 6 फेसेस, तो टोटल कंट्रीब्यूशन दैट इज इक्वल टू 3 एटम्स. टोटल कंट्रीब्यूशन इज इक्वल टू 3 एटम्स. नाउ कमिंग टू कितने नंबर ऑफ एटम्स हो गए पर यूनिट सेल. कितने नंबर ऑफ एटम्स पर यूनिट सेल हो जाते हैं. नंबर ऑफ एटम्स पर यूनिट सेल, सबसे पहले आते हैं सिंपल मीन्स प्रिमिटिव सेल में. सिंपल यूनिट सेल में, सिंपल यूनिट सेल में पार्टिकल्स प्रेजेंट है सिर्फ कॉर्नर्स पे. सिर्फ कॉर्नर्स पे प्रेजेंट है, तो इसका मतलब 1/8 इंटू 8 सिर्फ एक ही एटम के बराबर का कंट्रीब्यूशन है. दूसरा आते हैं बॉडी सेंटर्ड पे. बॉडी सेंटर्ड में कॉर्नर प्लस बॉडी सेंटर. कॉर्नर वाले का कंट्रीब्यूशन 1 है, बॉडी सेंटर वाले का भी 1 है, तो टोटल नंबर ऑफ एटम्स हो जाते हैं 2. तीसरा आता है आपके पास फेस सेंटर्ड, दैट इज FCC. कॉर्नर्स प्लस सेंटर ऑफ फेस. कॉर्नर का कंट्रीब्यूशन 1 के बराबर है, सेंटर ऑफ फेसेस का कंट्रीब्यूशन 3 के बराबर है, तो टोटल हो गया 4. दैट मीन्स द नंबर ऑफ एटम्स पर यूनिट सेल इन ए सिंपल यूनिट सेल दैट इज 1, in a body centered unit cell that is 2, and in face centered unit cell that is 4. We represent this number of atoms per unit cell by Z. By Z. We will be using this Z in the calculation of density of the unit cell, which we will be doing in the next video.